Hey guys, Metal Jesus here, and I'm back again with Radical Reggie.
What's up, everyone, and where are we going?
We are going to Portland Retro Gaming Expo.
Did you bring your 3DS?
I did. You told me to bring it, and we're going to do some street pass.
Step on it, man. We gotta go.
That's right. We're heading down to Portland, Oregon for the annual Retro Gaming Expo, and I'm going to share highlights from my weekend with you. But for this video, I'm also going to dive a little bit deeper into the state of game collecting. Specifically, I'm going to share some of the prices that I saw for games and hardware, both the really expensive stuff and also some of the good deals that I spotted. And I thought it might be kind of interesting to ask some of the vendors what's really hot right now. You know, what are they seeing most people asking for right on the floor? I think you're going to be pretty surprised with their answers because I had an idea what they would say. And honestly, many times they totally surprise me. So let's take a look.
Where are we?
We are at the Hyatt Regent Hotel. This is a nice hotel, man. I'm really happy to be here.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, it's day one and we're checking into the Hyatt Hotel, which is very nice. You can see my room right here. I'm on the 13th floor. And what I love about this hotel is it's different than where we normally stay. Usually we're staying at the DoubleTree, but for whatever reason, they booked the Hyatt Hotel this year. And I have to say, I really like it because it's right across the street from the convention center. So it's really close, which makes it nice because you don't have to try to, walk a couple blocks to get to the convention center. It's really easy to go back to the hotel room, drop some stuff off. Yeah, I'm digging this place. And would you be surprised to learn that Reggie was the very first person that I street passed with on my 3DS? I guess we both had our 3DSs turned on, which is great. And it's funny because over the weekend, because my 3DS was sitting in my room at night, it would pick up people walking down the hallway, and so you're going to definitely see that. One of my favorite sushi places in all of Portland is right up here. It's my first stop. I don't know if I've mentioned this sushi place before in any of my videos, but it's become a bit of a tradition every time I go down to the Portland Retro Gaming Expo. It's very close to the convention center, and honestly, it's super cheap and incredibly tasty. And as you see here, it's conveyor belt sushi, which is really fun. But the amazing thing is that if you get here during happy hour, almost every single plate that you eat is only $2.95, no tax. That's incredibly cheap. And like I said, very tasty. So what I typically go for are the huge slices of salmon over rice and their spicy tuna. Some of the best sushi, man. Oh, it's so good. After dinner, I want to walk around a little bit, get the body moving, especially since this is after 3 hours of travel, right? And I gotta be mentally prepared for tomorrow. Woke up the next day, and as you can see here, it's a little bit cloudy, but have no fear because it is supposed to get nice later on in the afternoon. Portland's known for a lot of things, and music is definitely one of those. And so I checked out this little music store here called Jackpot Records. This has a very cool vibe in here. As you can see, it's not really big, definitely kind of like a mom and pop kind of place. They had a decent metal selection, and I saw this Ace Frehley record that I didn't own yet. Looks like this is a Record Store Day exclusive. It's a picture disc, so I thought that was pretty cool. I also want to check out Laurel Hurst Park. This is a massive park in the middle of Portland in this residential area. It's actually pretty nice here. And it's not very far from all the action. You can get over here fairly quickly. It's like a 5-minute drive or something like that. And as you see here, there are a bunch of crisscrossing paths that cut through these beautiful trees, these little hills that you can kind of walk on. You can stop and kind of chill out, eat your lunch, and then I stumbled upon these ducks playing in this pond. Plus there's an off-leash area for your dogs. This is really one of the nicest city parks I think I've ever been to. And the great part is it's completely free. It's also really easy to find free street parking as well, which As you know, when you go into cities, that's becoming rarer and rarer. So yeah, if you come to Portland and you want to get away from kind of the hustle and bustle, but you don't want to travel very far, man, I highly recommend you go to this park. All right, guys, let's check out the expo. Let's go. Now, here's the thing. I've been coming to the Portland Retro Gaming Expo for a long time now, and I always say it's one of the best in the entire US. But I gotta tell you, this year, they outdid themselves. The first thing I noticed is that it's bigger than it's ever been, and also, too, I loved the layout. There was vendors everywhere. It was so fun to explore. It's like you could just never take a wrong turn. You go one direction and find something really cool, take a right or a left, and you just stumble into so much cool stuff. And dude, the very first game I spot is a copy of Hagane for $1,000. That's a little rich for my blood. But it is one of those games where a lot of people are looking for it if they're trying to complete their Super Nintendo collection, so I understand it. As I was walking around from booth to booth, I started to notice a lot of boxed NES and Super Nintendo systems. They were kind of everywhere, and the nice thing is that a lot of these vendors had them, and so you can kind of shop around a bit. Now, along those lines, this table had empty boxed NES systems, so they had a lot of them, as you can see here, for $100. You know, if that's all you need, this could be a cheap option for you.
We're gonna eat this some spaghetti manja. It's a rare Atari game, eh?
Said he wanted it.
I noticed that big box PC game prices haven't really risen all that much, especially compared to console games. And so you see a bunch of them here, and typically they cost anywhere from $20 to around $40, it seems, especially some of the more common stuff. However, I did spot a copy of Wasteland here. This is the game that is the basis for Fallout, essentially. And you see here, it's a little bit more pricey at $125, which is a little bit more than I wanted to spend. So I was like, I'm going to come back on Sunday and see if it's still available, maybe do some wheeling and dealing. However, when I came back on Sunday, it was no longer there. So I snooze, I lose. All right, dude, what are people buying this weekend?
This weekend, most people are buying vinyl, believe it or not.
Really?
Video game vinyl. We have a lot of people buying Evercade games.
Really?
Yeah, surprisingly.
Okay.
And PS2 and 360 is just booming right now.
360, yeah, for sure.
It's booming big time. I would say those would be the best. I mean, GameCube obviously is pretty good. But if people are just starting out, I would say PS2. I really like the PS2.
Yeah, me too.
It's
awesome.
hands down the best.
All right, thanks, dude.
Yeah, thanks, man. I appreciate you.
What are people looking for today?
People are looking for Pokemon, Zelda, those weird obscure stuff like Boktai on Game Boy Advance. Got all these weird niche stuff on Switch you love. Those limited run games. Stuff like Drakengard is pretty big right now. I've had several people coming through for Drakengard. You know, we got big box PC stuff even on the center table with a 40% discount. Kind of weird, right?
All right.
Got some big Atari guys coming in today. A lot of stuff, realistically. Anything you want, you can find.
Kelsey, what are people buying this year?
My book. And also
Good answer.
sealed games.
Sealed games.
Yeah. I mean, that is also like, I brought a lot of sealed games because they don't move in the store. So that was on purpose. But boy, those flew off the shelf here.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. How about the little fuzzy pink gorillas as well?
Yeah, the little ones are selling good, which is good because I made these specifically because I thought they would sell better, and they haven't been until now. They've been doing fine, but like I really thought people would be like, "Oh yeah, that's a better size. I don't have to find nearly as much room for that."
All right. I might have to get one.
Okay.
All right. So, what are we looking at here?
So this is a Doom 3 for Xbox, still sealed, but it has the original art in a Platinum Hits case and sticker. So it doesn't have the Platinum Hits art.
Do you know how much it's possibly worth?
I bought it off Kelsey just to see what it comes out to be.
Interesting.
Check out this Panasonic Q. This is the Japanese-only GameCube, and they've got it for sale here for $1,450 complete in the box. Painful, but, you know, this is one of the most beautiful consoles ever made, in my opinion, and it's always been kind of expensive, and it seems like it's just going up. Reggie's friend Marcus had a table very close to his, and I asked him, what do you got that's kind of interesting that you're selling this weekend? And he pulled out this brand new, unopened, Super Nintendo themed 3DS XL. This is from his personal collection, and he's trying to sell it for $900. He did mention that he tried to sell it for $1,000. I believe that was probably last year, and nobody bit. Nobody wanted it at that price, so he dropped it a bit for this weekend. Be curious to see if he actually sold it or not. Another Castle is there. They have a bunch of stores in the Seattle area that I visit often, and what was cool about their booth, it was dedicated primarily to deals. So basically everything at their table was from $3 up to $20, which is great to see at an expo like this. They're not trying to compete on the high end. Instead, they just brought a lot of common games that are good, that maybe people want for not much money. That was awesome to see. What are people looking for this weekend?
I mean, we learned a couple years ago, vintage PC, anything. It doesn't matter. Somebody bought a box of broken printers from us, floppy drives in any condition. If it says Atari, Commodore, and television, people want it.
Huh, okay, all right. Do you agree, Matt?
Yes, PC is king.
Yes, good answer.
Sierra rules forever.
Okay, we're gonna get a group hug here pretty soon. Our friend Corey had this really unusual Street Fighter series PC release. He asked me if I had seen this before, and I hadn't. And so I thought this was pretty cool. So it's got, a couple Street Fighter games in here, but check this out. It also includes Mega Man 1 and 3 on the CD as bonus games. I thought that was pretty neat. At about this time, I'm starting to get really hungry for lunch, and I've heard there's a very good Japanese ramen place not very far from the convention center. So I'm still in a Japanese mood, and I head over to Tomo Ramen. Got back to my hotel room, and I want to see if I got any new Street Pass editions, and yes, I did. It's so much fun. And so that's the first day, and we are already off to a great start. The next morning, wake up, beautiful weather. It's going to be an awesome day. And when I get to the expo, walk around a little bit, again, trying to get a feel as to what the prices are, both for the expensive stuff, but also some of the more common stuff. I'm also looking for deals. I spot this Rob the Robot in box for $400, and I gotta be honest with you, I have no idea if that's a good price or not. Let me know down in the comments. A random Happy Console Gamer shows up.
Right here,
Yeah.
absolutely. Good to see you guys.
Good seeing you, dude.
I
Yes.
just got into Iron Maiden a couple of years ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I know. Isn't that crazy?
What?
My age?
Yeah.
I always loved the artwork. And I listened
Yeah.
to a song in the 80s, and I'm like, I don't think it's for me. Dude, I listened a couple of years ago about Power Slave. I'm now addicted.
Fantastic album.
Fantastic
album.
Yeah.
Run to the hills. Run for... Okay, this is too high for me.
Okay.
For your life.
All right, let's see.
Yeah. Oh.
Close.
Dude, you have an unusual amount of N-Gage games here. What's up with that?
So when I was younger, my mom didn't want to buy me an N-Gage because it was too expensive. When I got my adult money, I went out and went for a full set, and those are all my doubles.
That is crazy, dude. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I was really curious to know what some of the more common PlayStation 3 games are going for. And it, turns out that for the vast majority of them, they're like $10 or less. You see it right here, sometimes only $5. And so, if you're wondering what to snag right now, it's going to be this generation right here, the PlayStation 3, the Xbox 360. You see it also at this table, a bunch of common Xbox 360 games, not going for much more than $5 or $10. Again, not the really expensive ones. We're going to get to that in a little bit here, but now's the time to jump on these. And the great thing is these games are on disc, right? They're on that disc. That's something that, as you know, is becoming increasingly rare. Now, not every 360 game is dirt cheap. There are a handful that are kind of collectible, including this one right here. You guys saw it in the thumbnail. This is Formula One 2013. Now, they originally had this marked at $400, but then they dropped it down to $380. You see it here. And what's hilarious about this is that this is literally just a $20 game if you get it on the PlayStation 3. Wild, right? Portland Retro Gaming Expo this year wanted to emphasize a little bit more vintage home computers, and so they had an entire section of the floor dedicated to that over here. I thought this was pretty cool, kind of walking around here. We're starting to see this more and more as we go to these expos. And as I was walking around here, I was shocked to see this full version of Dragon's Lair running on this old TI-99 home computer. Remember, this is a Laserdisc full motion video game, and they have somehow crammed that into this little tiny cartridge. And it's the whole game. It's very wild to see this running. I mean, this is not something that you would have seen back in the day. This is amazing to see. And they even had a version of the movie Spaceballs also crammed onto a cartridge and running on this home computer. Wow, this really blew my mind. Also in this area, Darth Vader showed up with the bagpipes riding a unicycle. This is definitely kind of a Portland tradition. This guy always shows up. And yeah, it's just one of the more things that makes Portland weird and also wonderful. I was curious what the prices are for the Nintendo Wii U. You know, that's a failed console that not a lot of people care about, and so I was kind of curious what the prices are. You never know, and I saw this copy of Xenoblade Chronicles X. This is new and for $60. I had assumed it was going to be a little bit higher, so that seems pretty reasonable.
Hey Ryan, what are people looking for this weekend?
You know, today we've been doing a lot of controllers, retrobit controllers, and a lot of vinyl.
Dude, you are the second person to say vinyl.
Vinyl's been big this year.
That warms my heart.
Yep.
That warms my heart.
And there is some Megadeth in here, as
Seriously?
well as some video game music, of course.
Okay, now you're getting me excited. Now you're getting me excited. Oh, yes, P salesman. Who's buying? Who's buying? Might be me.
Might be.
All right, what are people buying this weekend?
Lots of Tetris games and lots of Simpsons games.
Simpsons games.
Simpsons games.
Does that seem as random to you as it does to me?
It does, but the games looked really fun. There was a skateboard game, and then there was a road rage one that looked really cool.
Huh. Okay.
All
Good to know.
different consoles too.
Yeah.
It's been awesome.
Okay. Cool. You guys are busy booth here.
Yeah,
busy booth
this year. It's been really fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
I've had a lot of people thumbing through my Laserdisc looking for odd titles I never heard of.
Laserdisc.
Yeah.
Really? Huh.
Yeah. We brought more this show than we did in Everett, and they've been selling pretty well. So.
Huh. All right, dude. What have people been looking for this weekend?
Mostly surprisingly newer stuff.
Newer stuff.
Games, PS5 stuff, and everybody's asking for PS3 and PS2, which we didn't bring.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, unfortunately, but yeah, I mean, we're kind of doing okay over here, but it's really heavy over there where the newer stuff's at.
Okay.
Lots of PS5 and Switch games.
All right. Good to know. I'll have to check them out.
Here are some sealed TurboGrafx 16 games, and no surprise they go for big bucks, $200 and $350, and that seems to be kind of what they've been going for the past 5 years. It seems like maybe creeping up a little bit. But of course, you've got some big spenders here and some big collectors, so you're going to see some very expensive stuff. This is a Pokemon Limited Edition Game Boy. This is brand new and looks like they got it graded. He's officially asking $7,000. It's a lot of money, but later he did tell me that he's open to negotiations and trades, which is great. So he's putting that closer maybe to $5,000 or $6,000, depending on the right buyer and maybe what they bring. So I don't know, who knows? And then check this out, Panic Restaurant and Zombie Nation on the NES. Still definitely in high demand. No thanks. You see here the rarest 3DS game. This is Barbie Groom Glam Pups for $5,000. I guess this game only was on store shelves for 3 weeks before it was recalled. Man, crazy prices. I mentioned earlier that I really liked the layout this year at Portland, and I have to say that that included the arcade area and also the pinball area. I'm not entirely sure what they did differently, but it felt like it was just kind of, again, better organized. It felt like it was more integrated into the entire show, and it was so much more fun to explore. Again, Portland just knocked it out of the park with its setup this year. Speaking of the 3DS, I picked up 10 new Street Pass editions as I walked around. So That means this weekend I actually pushed my total street passes, the number of people I've met, over 800. That's crazy, right? Do you guys know Derek from the YouTube channel Stop Skeletons from Fighting?
What the hell are you doing at Portland?
16-player Faceball, Jason. Metal Jesus.
This is insane.
He was so excited to be hosting the 16-player Faceball multiplayer shootout at Portland. And, because why not, right? Because you can do it. But yeah, this was pretty fun. He was very excited to run this all weekend.
What's going on with you, dude?
Well, I just got through doing a panel on the crash of '83. It was awesome. There was a great turnout. Now I'm just trying to convince gamers to read books. It's a labor of love, for sure.
Absolutely. It's analog. You keep it, you own it.
Yes, you do.
You own it when you buy it.
Nobody can take it away from you.
Nobody can take it away from you.
And so that, guys, is my weekend down in Portland, Oregon for the awesome Portland Retro Gaming Expo. And I hope you enjoyed this little snapshot at the current state of retro gaming. Obviously, there's many things there that are super expensive, way beyond my price range. I'm always looking for the deals. That's the thing for me, is that I don't really go for those big expensive things. That's not what I do. I much prefer to get the things that people are kind of ignoring right now. And so that's the fun for me. And as you see, you can really get both at this expo. And speaking of which, you're probably wondering what I picked up at the show. Well, Reggie and I are going to share all of those with you in an upcoming pickups video on my channel. So you're going to want to make sure and stay tuned for that. And as always, guys, I want to thank you for watching my channel. Thank you for subscribing, and take care.